Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to go over a really important concept in dog training called thresholds. In this video, I'm going to break down what thresholds actually are, how to tell when your dog is approaching theirs, and how working under threshold can lead to a more calm, confident dog. It's especially helpful when you're working with dogs who are dealing with reactivity, whether they're on leash or off, overexcitement, new rescues, dogs who seemingly forget everything they've learned the second that there's been a change in the environment, puppies, and really so much more. Thresholds refer to the point at which a dog becomes emotionally or behaviorally overwhelmed by a stimulus. So essentially, it's a line between when a dog can stay calm and focused and when they react. Thresholds can be so wildly misunderstood, but once you understand them, your dog's behavior will start to make a lot more sense. In my own private training, when I explain thresholds to a client, the big thing that I'll explain is how once your dog is past that point of threshold, they can no longer retain new information, they can't learn new information. A lot of times they won't remember the training that you've been working on the last few weeks or the last few months. So that is one of the biggest reasons why staying under it is very, very important for progressing your training. When a dog is under threshold, the dog is aware of the stimulus or trigger, but still calm. They're able to focus, take treats, and learn. This is the ideal learning and training zone. When the dog is at threshold, the dog is starting to become overstimulated. They might take treats inconsistently, they might seem a little tense, hyper-focused, or easily distracted. Some training can be done here, but this can be much harder. Now, when the dog is over threshold, the dog is emotionally flooded and no longer able to think clearly. This is when behaviors like barking, lunging, shutting down, or trying to flee can happen. Learning is not possible in this zone. So what exactly is the science behind this? When a dog goes over threshold, they're experiencing a stress response. So their brain shifts from the thinking brain to the survival brain. Essentially, once that trigger is perceived as a threat, that survival brain does kick in. The body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, the heart rate increases, pupils dilate, and digestion slows, and the dog enters fight, flight, freeze, or fidget mode. Your dog's prefrontal cortex is responsible for learning, decision-making, and impulse control. Once over threshold, this is suppressed. That's why dogs can't follow cues or respond to treats once they're over threshold. To maybe humanize the issue just a little bit, let's say you're on a drive, you see a nice sunset, you acknowledge that it's pretty, you see a cute dog walking by, you hear a song that you like on the radio, and then suddenly you get rear-ended by somebody at a stoplight. When you look back to that day, what exactly are you going to remember? Are you going to remember all the cute dogs and nice song and the sunset that day, or are you going to remember getting rear-ended? So let's say we're working with reactivity or just overstimulation when outside, and you're doing tons of training, you're doing positive reinforcement, you're rewarding the dog for calm behavior, you guys are making progress, but then suddenly out of nowhere, a dog comes running at you guys, and then your dog has a big negative event happen. That is why that whole entire day of training that you just did isn't going to have that long of an impact on your dog. What's going to have a stronger impact is that one single bad experience that your dog had. So many signs of a dog going over threshold. I'd say the more common one that I see people be able to recognize right off the bat is the dog not being able to take food or just lacking motivation when outside on that walk. Now, let's say inside the house or in a more safe space, the dog will take tons of treats. They will eat their food with no problem. They'll take human food, cheese, pieces of meat, all of that. So why is it that a dog is very motivated in the house, but not motivated when you take that step outside the front door? Usually what this means is that going out that front door means going over threshold for your dog. A huge key to understanding your dog's threshold really revolves around understanding your dog's body language better. When your dog is under threshold, it kind of seems like they maybe notice something, they notice the other dog, a noise, a new person, but they're still calm, they're relaxed, and they're able to pay attention to you. They'll still take treats, they'll listen to cues, and just chill. This is a sweet spot for training and learning. Once your dog is at threshold, this is where we might see the dog start to get a little tense. Maybe their body stiffens. They might stop taking treats, or maybe they will continue, but they'll do it kind of cautiously. but their attention is drifting off. They're still with you, but they're showing some signs of that stress. This is a warning sign and a warning zone where things can really tip either way. Now, once your dog is over threshold, this is at times pretty easy to acknowledge. The dog is now becoming reactive. They're showing clinical signs of stress at this point. They're barking, they're lunging, maybe they're fully frozen up, they're trying to run away from you. Their brain has switched to that survival mode, and they're not able to learn or listen. It's really important to understand that once your dog's brain has flipped into that survival mode, they're not ignoring you on purpose. They physically can't focus or learn. You can repeat cues all you want, you can try to wave treats in their face, but none of this will stick. Because here's the thing, every time your dog practices that over-the-top reaction, whether it's barking, lunging, or shutting down, they're wiring that behavior in an even deeper way. That means that next time, they will reach that point faster, even if this is happening at a really slow rate. It is making the reactivity worse over time. By keeping your dog right at that threshold, you're protecting their ability to learn, you're building their confidence, and you're just preventing the setbacks. I promise, even though it kind of feels like it in the beginning, you are not avoiding the problem. It is setting your dog up for success and actually making that long-term progress. So let's pretend we're working with a dog who's on-leash reactive. Now, when we're 5 feet away, the dog is barking and lunging at that trigger. When we're 20, they're staring, but they have some tense body. When we're 50, they're calm and they're eating treats. We need to do whatever we can to set up the environment and set up our situation so that we always stay 20 feet or 50 feet away from this trigger when we're doing our training. Now, I totally understand that staying under threshold can be a challenge sometimes, and I can talk all day about ways that you do it, but really the biggest tip is to remember that distance is your friend. Always just practice increasing the distance away from those triggers, to use high-value treats to create a positive association, train in really easy environments first, and to just make sure that you're always keeping an eye on your dog's body language. All right, there you have it. If you have any questions, shoot a comment down below, but I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching.